Yo! There may or may not be some people here. But it's time to get back to streaming some game dev. That's where we are. That's what I'm doing. Streaming that game dev. Okay, so, last time we made a new garbage block. Had to deal with the double recursion. We've resolved that issue, though, and we now have 2 more to do. I think I'm going to start by making... I'm going to start by making a new thing entirely here. I don't remember how big I made these. I think it's 48 by 48. Seems like it. Okay, so what we're doing today is a little different from... Got a fly buzzing around. What we're going to be doing today is a little bit different from how we did the previous garbage blocks. And by that, I actually mean I'm just going to be making a separate object entirely for this. This doesn't matter too much. Okay, that it should be good enough. Loop, yes. Speed, I don't know, 10. Good enough. Okay, so the ghost gem is going to be a very different beast from anything that we've made up until now. And by that, I mean it's not even a gem, really. Let's see here, where's our move gem movement? Okay, so I think what we're gonna need to do here is we're gonna want to check gem type before we even do this. Okay, let's just go straight up. Move gem. I forget which one we're doing right now. 11, so this is actually 12. So if gem type does not equal 12, do all of this. Else... What? Oh, no, this is going to be more complicated than I thought. Okay, I just have to move this else inside. Okay. Gem type is not equal to 12. And then below this, else. So there's only 2 left, and this one, today I am making the ghost block. So I shouldn't need to worry about, like, any of this, since this is all specific to the various other gems. So I would maybe want to consider bringing this in, though. Okay, so let's see here. So this is largely a check. So y equals y plus. So if you're hitting the bottom, or you're hitting a gem, do this. Honestly, neither of those should matter. Because otherwise you're just throwing garbage again and throwing it again. Speaking of plot, who's the bad guy? Probably Meat Bun.
She's one of the playable characters.
She's unlockable.
Oh, is she?
You have to beat the game to play as Meat Bun.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how I want to handle all of the unlockable, all of the characters. Like, I don't know if I want to start with like just a choice few, and you have to play through the story and, like, beat all of them in order to unlock them? Or, like, just give you everybody but Meat Bun? I don't know yet.
Maybe you can start with Miss Naka and then anytime you beat a character, you play as.
Well, I'd have to start with Tofu.
Okay. My point still stands.
The bad guy's the succubus. No, it's not. The succubus's name is not Meat Bun. In fact, the succubus isn't even in this game.
How are you doing?
Okay, for each move gem, ordered by move gem.y descending. Set temp move y to gem.distance. Okay, so we set temp move y to that. And after we set that, absolute value of move gem distance is greater than that absolute value of temp move y. So set move gem, set y to. Okay, so then we move it and we update it. Otherwise, we set distance to 0. And if make block is 1, okay, so that's we just move it up so it's on top of a gem. Honestly, I feel like I want this check to happen on before this one. Because for this thing, in particular, I just do not care about other gems. Bad guy's not the succubus. I'm not sure why you ever concluded that the succubus was the bad guy, and I'm not sure how you concluded that a crystal is the bad guy now. And honestly, if you read that succubus's bio, she's actually a pretty chill person.
It's kind of miserable back there. Muffin seems pretty chill. She's grabbing the mic wire.
Muff, give me that.
Muff is just like, and me.
Okay, instead of creating gem, we're creating ghost gem. I don't need to worry about setting any of these. I also don't need to worry about either of these, because I don't care if it hits the ground or whatever. Do I even need to worry about setting these? Not that one, because I don't care. Block placed. What does block placed do? Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that one too. I legitimately don't need to do anything. If gem type equals 12, do that. Just put that there. Okay, so that ended up being reasonably easy. Granted, we're still just starting. What am I looking for? I'm looking for... Pro gem? Is that what I'm looking for? I don't think so. I think I'm looking at throw garbage. Okay, so we have an else. Chat's pretty empty right now by the sounds of it. Okay, else. This is where we handle how we would throw this. Were it a ghost block. I think for the ghost block, I'm going to have it... Probably going to have it just kind of show up at a random spot. Like, it's not even going to land on top of the gems. Okay, throw garbage should already be picking a random... X. So we're going to want to... Okay, so we're creating a move gem on layer gem at zero X, so we can make it wherever we need to. Set make block to 1, so it'll make a block. Timer is parameter 4, which shouldn't matter. Speed is gem speed, which, sure, why not? Distance... we're setting gem type, set don't exec, which, like, I don't care. I do need to make an idle animation for that there, though. So let's see here, we have gem. That one doesn't really matter. You can't pick it up, so I don't need to worry about gem hold. But you will see this one, so let's go ahead and make an idle 12 for this. Yeah, sorry, Alex. Chat's a little quiet, is all. Okay, so we're gonna do this. That'll put it potentially on the bottom. I'm going to instead say 2 times that. And then I'm going to subtract yet again floor random 3 times gem size. Okay, so that should give me something interesting. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be interesting. One can only hope it does exactly what I want it to do. That seems to do exactly what I wanted it to do. Which is amazing. So the only problem now okay, so it does mostly what I want it to do now. But what I need to do is make sure you can't put one of these on top of one of these. I'm gonna get rid of that because if it builds up like that, that's gonna look awkward. So how am I gonna do this? Really? That's silly.
So my mom told me to do a spot test to see if I want it.
Hmm.
So, I'll do that on my arm.
Okay, so otherwise, set temp y to some variable. So what I'm going to want to do is, while this is function dot param 0 by the looks of it. Okay, this is... I can't do this. So field... Let's just simplify this some. Fieldback.height plus fieldback.y minus gem size. So it gives you the floor, minus... So that should give you a y-coordinate. Okay, so theoretically, as long as there is a ghost gem there, it will keep subtracting y until there's not one. What game am I making? I'm currently working on a competitive puzzle game. Think something in the lines of Tetris Attack, or Panel to Pawn, or Magical Drop. Okay, we may or may not have something. We may or may not have something. We don't quite have something. I think I know what the problem is, though. What are the values that I correspond to when I throw garbage? Oh, this is, for gameplay purposes, I wouldn't worry about this too much. This is just my this is just my, like... Yeah, this is just my command console, so I can type stuff in without having to, like... This way I don't have to, like, do combos and crap to send it over just to see what the garbage looks like. I can just type in a command that throws garbage over. But right now the command is just throw garbage. The first number is the player that the garbage is coming from. The second number is the type of garbage, of which I'm currently making the 7th one. And then finally is the quantity of how many do I want to throw over to the other. Okay, so where is my... Okay, for each... Don't I have a... Yes, I do. So I actually kind of want to keep this. So if move gem is overlapping a ghost gem when gem type is 12, set y to ghost gem dot y minus gem size. Speed and distance should not matter, because the only reason I have them is so I can set them to that. Okay, that should resolve that problem. I am going to want to look in here at collision boxes. honest to goodness, that is actually how I feel creating stuff for Well Guy. I mean, I get so many ideas in my head about neat stuff, and like I think it's super neat, and so I want to share it with everybody. And like, it's weird because if you don't like what people really want, and this is kind of what got me, is, or I shouldn't say got me, but what I've realized is, for the most part, people want story. They want to know how things progress. They want to know what's going on in the story. It makes them care about what's going on. Whereas I get like so many world-building ideas, but without a story to connect them, it's just random stuff floating around in the void. So like, I get super excited about it, and I want to share it with everybody, and I want everybody to like care and get excited about it, and tell me how excited they are about it, and ask me more questions, and then I can answer more stuff and figure out more. Like, I just want to build off of each other's excitement about this thing. But like, it's really hard to get people excited about something when like, it's really hard to make excited about something when you don't have any grounds for it. So like, if I wrote a neat little story involving, say, Miss Naka, people would get more excited about that. If I just listed off facts about her, on the other hand, not as excited. Because yeah, they know these things, but that doesn't mean anything without being able to place her. If that makes any sense. Okay, so this should work there. I should have that. Also under effects, I should have... Let's see here. Set frame to... animation frame. I guess throw some garbage.
I like how Muffin's just asleep over there on the desk.
Okay, that worked. Boo!
Oh!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Yes!
Why is there a blank spot?
One didn't fall there. I randomly pick. These should be falling just in smaller groups, because I don't want this to be the kind of game where you can dump this kind of crap on the opponent. But I'm also taking into account if you do. If you don't dump this kind of crap on the opponent, the ghost blocks, when they fall, they'll just randomly fall somewhere in one of the bottom three, height-wise. Like, it won't necessarily land on top of another gem. It'll just be there. And then it'll work in the background, so even if you're moving gems around behind them, I'm gonna want those ghost gems to be in front. But, so you know where they are. But then you'd never know, though. If I have them up here and it falls down that way, you're never gonna know.
I would have it, put it in front, and then move it back.
That's going to be very difficult.
Memory games!
That's going to be very difficult
Okay.
to program. Specifically. I don't mean like gameplay-wise.
Just for each gem type ghost, move in front of, I don't know, whatever the... I guess that laser, move in front of laser.
What?
There's a move to object.
No, I understand that. Why are we going in front of the laser?
To put it behind the object. The blocks.
Oh, that's not what I mean. I've had a problem with.
Okay.
That's just Z order, and I can do that.
I don't understand what the problem is.
My problem is just the systems I have in place that handle gems and where they are and what they're going on and how the animations work with them. Like weaving something in that would make a gem change over time into something else. I mean,
It's just uncreative.
I mean, I guess. No, hold up. I mean, I guess what I could do is use the timer variable that I put on gems and do something with that, because I have like the bombs that blow up after 3 seconds. So I could have these. Like, I could just set invisible after 3 seconds or something. Or something similar. I guess the point I was trying to make was I've got a lot of systems in place, and just kind of like doing something that's outside of those systems is kind of hard.
Okay.
It's doable, but kind of hard.
Your systems.
I'm not reprogramming this entire game because you want one gem to disappear after a couple seconds.
I just think that you shouldn't have systems that are that difficult to work around.
I can be knocking my programming.
I am knocking your programming.
Well, fine, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. You're mean.
Alright, bye. I guess. I'll just leave.
Uh, honestly, I think I'm wanting to stay in front anyway. Like, if we're talking balance, then I think it's difficult enough to deal with this block as it is. I don't feel like that would add anything. Or I feel like that adds more difficulty in comparison to the other garbage blocks.
A lot of the other gems, all you have to do is make a match next to it. This is the same thing.
That's like only one gem that you have to make a match next to.
I just think this is the exact same thing, though. Like, I don't understand what the difference is. I also don't think it's intricate enough. If it's just a square that sits on top of the other blocks. Like, I don't think that's interesting at all.
I've got two other gems that you resolve by making matches near them or the like, and they both work in slightly different ways. There's the cloud block, which you have to make a match next to. It doesn't matter what match, but it has to be made next to this one. And when you do that, it destroys the cloud block, leaves a gem behind. All points go to the opponent. And then there's Ogre's rainbow block, where color changes on a timer, and is very similar to the cloud block in that you have to make a match next to it, but you can include the rainbow block in that match. Actually, I'm going to have to do some thinking about how I want to handle the rainbow block. If you can include the rainbow block in the match, then that's one thing. If you can chain into the rainbow block, That's another thing, and I don't know if I want to do both or what. But it changes on the timer, so you have to time it right. This gem is, instead of making a match next to it, you have to make an independent match on top of it, since this isn't really a gem. In fact, this is the only garbage gem in the game that's not actually a gem.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get it, it doesn't move, but I don't think it's an interesting thing to just have a thing sitting there going, if you make a match on top of me, you know? I just don't think it's interesting. I think it's more interesting to have it be a memory game.
I'm just concerned about difficulty.
One, eventually you're going to have to not avoid them anyway. And two, I honestly am not sure that's as interesting of an implementation as it could be.
I don't know, I'm gonna worry about it later. Right now it does what I programmed it to. I am going to need to... do that to move them all to the top so you can actually see them. Then hide behind that. If by some freak chance you get these things up high enough that they go off the top of the screen, I feel like I also want to game over the player. Care about destroyed. So if they stack up high enough, then that'll also lose you the game. I'm glancing at the chat every now and then. I was just chatting with Barry, though, so I wasn't looking at the chat for a little while there. And now I'm just trying to get this done.
I kind of want to take a nap. I'm really tired.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take a nap.
Alright.
Wake me up for dinner.
I'm suddenly having problems concentrating. So I need to go in here. I need to give this thing a destroyed animation. It's the easiest way to give this thing a destroyed animation. Okay, so while we're searching through, we find a gem. So what I want to do is... the gem is overlapping a ghost gem. Set return value to 1. Okay, so if you make a match over top of the ghost gem, You set return value to 1, which means points of this will go to the opponent, and you destroy the ghost gem. And it should be just that simple. And then in effects... it goes, for whatever reason, I was struck very recently, just a moment ago, with a bout of not being able to focus. Oh, did I never change the... Oh, whoops, it still says Fragment Friday Mario 3. Whoops. Let me change that. There we go. Oh, hey! Thanks, Iscariot. Thanks, the Iscariot. Oh, as Iscariot has noticed, I just found out last night, I don't know when it actually happened because I never checked my Twitch messages, but I just found out last night that I did make Twitch Associate. Right now, about the only thing that does is it lets people give bits, but thank you very much. Bits and cheers and stuff. Okay, so let's see here. So on that... this is not going to be gem, this is going to be ghost gem. This is not going to be gem. This is going to be ghost gem. I know, Daisy, you have been, or maybe it wasn't you, it was somebody. Yes, it was somebody like last time I streamed game dev. Somebody mentioned that... Or somebody mentioned that they would subscribe if I had a subscribe button, like came and asked where it was. Right now there is no subscribe button, so we can't do that. But they did say, I do not have partner itinerant, I just have associate. Yeah. Right now they don't have, right now associate does not have a subscribe button, but they did say they're going to be rolling that out eventually. I could not find a timeline for that, though. Okay, it's not going to be this. Ghost gem. Ghost gem. I don't mess with that. Are you getting up to be a butt muffin? No, you're just laying back down. Okay. So check following, I don't need to worry about that. Create object spark, destroy, and then we mess with spark. So, yeah, pretty sure I don't have to mess with any of these. Yeah, so on animation destroy is finished. You can't get any funds if your team gets partner. How does that work? What loophole in the system makes getting partner worse? Okay, so that should work. Points should divvy out correctly. Okay, I think this works. I think this will work. Well, it did that. Hmm? Hmm? Okay, I'm a little confused. It's animating. know why it's doing it. Maybe I should just make another layer for this. Oh, I don't actually destroy it. Okay, works beautifully. It works beautifully, except for this move to top of layer thing. So do I just want to put them on the effects layer? I'm just going to put them on the effects layer. Okay, I think we're looking pretty good. Honestly, I can understand complaining for complaining's sake. Like, if you feel crappy about something, you feel wronged, you just kind of want to complain. I think the issue is when you take that, like when you feel crappy when you feel crappy because of something, you kind of want to complain about it, and I can understand that much. I do it all the time. I think a lot of people do. But I think when you take that too far, to like, you've gotten past the point of, we get it, this was upsetting, to down the road, you're still just complaining and complaining because this is a crappy thing that happened. Like, yeah, we get it. It's happened. Move on. Yeah, venting versus whining. Like, I guess I can get rid of these four because I got them down there and that's working. Okay, so I think at this point we've got the ghost block implemented. If you throw one over and it's over there, you can move the blocks, and it doesn't move. If you make a pair over top of it, it gets rid of it, since all points to the opponent, including that. If you have a lot of them fall, they stack up correctly. And if you throw too many, either that's a real happenstance, you can still lose due to blocking onto it. I don't like that these top ones are not synced correctly. I think I can fix that. So let's try in game end. Okay, so that should take care of that. Okay, and it got rid of the extra ones that were blocked out due to it. Got it. So why not that top one, though? Oh, it's probably, like, directly equal to it or something. Alright. Cool beans. There's nothing else I can really think of right now. Barry gave the suggestion of that block disappearing briefly after it appears, after it lands. So, like, you see where it is, then it disappears, and you just kind of have to remember where it is. And I do think that's a neat idea, but I'm really worried about this block being too powerful in that case. But I guess that's something that I'll worry about when the time comes. That's the only other thing that I can think of needing to do for this, though, other than, I guess, things that I may encounter later on. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and call the ghost block done. Which leaves us with a single garbage block left to program, and that's the rainbow block. So I'm not going to be doing that today. It's a little late for that. The rainbow block, though, I'm going to be... Really, it's just going to be a gem that changes color periodically. I want to make it so you can make pairs with it. I mean, presumably you'd want to be able to make pairs with it, as well as chain into it. So between making pairs and chaining pairs into it, that's going to be a tricky one, because I feel like I'm going to do both of those. It would feel weird if you could do one but not the other. What I don't yet know is I need to figure out how in the world I'm going to do the periodic color change. That's going to be a fight. Well, what kind of variables do I have on gems right now? Not really any that I can mess with. Maybe the timer. No, because if I'm gonna mess with the timer... Okay, so I think next time is going to be the first time that I'm forced... Yeah, I'm thinking next time is going to be the first time that I'm forced to go back and remove all of these 6s from these animations and actually just give them individual frames, instead of one stretched out frame. Because the only way I can think of to get this thing to animate in a way that changes color periodically is by putting that all in one animation. You're awake? Oh. Like, I could maybe put it all in one animation? That's gonna be a long animation, though. Because that animation's gonna be like 5 times as long as any other animation. I'm thinking about how I'm gonna handle the rainbow block. Like, I guess ideally I would want it to be able to toggle between 5 different animations and cycle between them. But I feel like that's going to be very difficult considering I already have 11 other gems in this one gem. And so I would have to take into account every system that I have in place for every other gem and how I handle every other gem, and this one is going to be different. And I'm not sure how reasonable that's going to be. You're awake, Muff? Well, I mean, since all the gems are this one gem, every, like, line of code that I have to handle... Every line of code that I have to handle animations, I do a lot of them that selects an animation by gem type. So it chooses the correct animation by finding, like, hey, this is gem type 6. Play animation idle 6. Or whatever. And whereas with this one, I'm gonna have like 12A, 12B.
Yeah, you can build animations with strings though. So
Yeah.
you can say like, you can put a variable in the gem that says like color or whatever for the rainbow gem.
Yeah.
And then like build the animation like animation idle 12 and color.
Well, I mean, that's what I do already. Where I have like idle and gem type.
Then you would just do idle and gem type and color.
Well, I think the issue is how that's going to relate to all the code that I already have. Where I have code that says, hey, play this animation for gem 6. Like, gem 6 isn't going to have a color. So, I mean, I guess I could go back and add, like, an A to the end of every other animation and just make that, by default, A on every gem.
I don't understand why you can't just have conditional.
I would need... That's one option. Is I would have to say, like, if the gem type is 13, then... Do I really have 13 gems? I would have to say, like, if the gem type is 13, then handle the animation this way instead of this other way. And the only complication there is I have to go back and find... that. I mean, that's one thing that I could do. And that's just going to involve me going back and finding every instance of doing anything with an animation and putting a conditional in it. That may or may not be bad, but that's one option.
Or you could rename all of your animations and include that A.
Yeah. Or a 0 or something. So if I don't initialize it, it'll just be a 0 or some such. No, I could set it initialized to like A.
If you do a text object, you can do initialize nothing and then you don't have to put it.
That's true. That's true.
Probably your best option. Just
Yeah.
have a text variable.
Yeah, that may actually be... That may be not bad.
Change your code at all.
Yeah, and I would just add color at the end of it, and color will likely be null, so I don't have to worry about it. That's really good. That'll make that a lot easier. Next time! How is color determined anyway? Is each color normal gem a different instance type or such, or is it just an attribute of one common gem type? As far as the coding of the game goes, all of the gems in the game are the same object. They've just got a variable on them that tells them which gem type they are. Like, this is it, right here, really. It's just gem. And then down here, I've got gem type. And this number will change depending on which gem it is. And depending on what this number is, this gem will act very differently in the code. So I guess, to answer your question, it is just an attribute of one common gem type, yes. But yeah, it's 7. Which means I'm going to call it for now. We at least have an idea of how we are going to handle the final gem, which is the rainbow gem. That's going to be our final garbage gem. Finally going to be done with garbage gems and get to move on to other stuff. Admittedly, I was starting to get a little bogged down by the whole garbage gem thing. But I'm also not really looking forward to some of the things I have to do after that. So we'll see where we go. Yeah. Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm gonna have to put a title screen in. Or not a title screen, but like a character select screen. Alright, everybody. I'm gonna head out. We're gonna eat dinner soon. After that, Barry's gonna stream.
I'm gonna do something.
She's gonna do something. She's gonna do some more game dev.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something.
And then I will probably try to continue streaming tomorrow. Maybe we'll knock out that rainbow gem tomorrow. Which hopefully that rainbow gem is easier to implement than this ghost gem. Admittedly, the ghost gem wasn't hard. It was just dealing with a lot of really unorthodox things, because it's not actually a gem. I've got so many systems in place by this point, or so many defaults in place by this point, and systems, that making new garbage gems is pretty easy. Because I can just take bits and pieces from existing ones and use existing systems. I have to add a little bit of new for each one, obviously, but like... The ghost gem was just fun because it wasn't actually a gem, so I had to make a lot of new systems for it. Alright, good night, everybody. If you show up at Barry's stream shortly, please do. I will be there probably ranting about something in the background. So good night, everybody.